Hello, everyone. This is Alan Whitford from RCEURO.com coming to you with one of our thought leader conversations. Today, we have the pleasure of talking with David Rivel, the co-founder of PathMotion. And it's quite interesting. David and I were just chatting beforehand, realized that we both used to live in the same part of Antwerp, Wildrijk, in Belgium, although obviously many years apart. David, how are you today?
I'm very good, Alan. What about yourself?
I'm very good. Or should we be saying goedemorgen, hoe gaat het?
Very good, very good.
And
Good,
that'll
thanks.
throw off most of our listeners now. David, you came across to our conference a couple weeks ago, the Social Recruiting Conference 2010. We're glad to have you there. Hopefully you got an idea of some of what's going on in the social marketplace here in the UK and across Europe. And I think what you guys are doing at PathMotion is really very interesting. And we thought it'd be good to hear directly from you a little bit about, well, who is David Rivel and what is it that PathMotion is doing?
Absolutely. So yeah, so as you said, I'm David Rivel. I'm the co-founder of PathMotion, which is an online career website for students and young professionals. And what we do is we actually provide you with job opportunities based on like-minded people. So the whole idea is to get inspired by people who are similar to you. And the way we do that is actually we look at your background, at your strengths and your aspirations, and we then compare that to people who are similar to you, and we look at what they've done, so you can really get ideas about what opportunities are open to you. And you can also learn from their career trajectory. So we show you, the trajectories they had and what they went on doing after, joining a certain job. So it gives you also a perspective into where a certain opportunity might take you in the midterm and in the long term.
Well, that sounds quite interesting because as graduates coming out, we're always trying to figure out what is it we want to do, how do we want to do, and there was some research and some commentators in the U.S. a couple of years ago that said that this generation moves in packs because they like to do similar things together. Has that been part of your thinking?
The thinking was really that what we noticed with, as we call them, Gen Y, so people between 20 and 30 years old, is that they find it quite difficult to, first of all, even prioritize what they want in the first place. They have a lot of priorities, which are sometimes conflicting, and they find it quite difficult to say, okay, those are the few key criteria that I am looking after, and we actually help them in defining that. And even when they have defined that, they find it really difficult to connect it with opportunities in the marketplace. And this is also, a key aspect of what PathMotion is doing, is to show them, okay, if you are someone with a degree in, whatever, economics from LSE, that you are quite analytical and extrovert, those are the opportunities that you could go after. So it's really, in a sense, a way to help them prioritize what they want and linking it to actual opportunities in the marketplace. And I totally agree with you. What you see is that people nowadays are not just going after jobs where they'll make a lot of money or they'll feel they have a steady career security, I would say. They're much more looking into getting into opportunities where they'll be fulfilled and happy about their jobs, and they're not afraid to change if they can't find that. And we help them in that process.
So how do you exactly do this? If I'm a graduate or a student, am I filling out a battery of psychometric profiling tests? Am I sitting down in a closed room being interviewed by people? How does it actually work?
No, so it's all, everything is online, and we've built a product that is quite flexible depending on different people's needs. So if you are someone who want to go through the full process, we have our own online self-assessment tool, which allows you to define your strengths and your aspirations, which is something that you might think but it really forces you to kind of pin a few strengths and a few aspirations that are really key to you, and this is the difficult piece. It's really about focus and then understanding where those strengths and where those aspirations can be fulfilled. What type of jobs and what type of organizations are actually able to allow you to fulfill those strengths and to employ those strengths and fulfill those aspirations. And the way we do that is really by showing you real examples. It's quite simple. We've got a huge database of profiles, and the way it works is that we compare the results of your self-assessment tool, if you want to make a self-assessment test. If not, you can actually tell us yourself what you think is important to you. We take that into account, we take your background into account, and then we show you simply what people like you have done, so that you can really get ideas.
Well, that sounds quite interesting. Now, you mentioned a large database of profiles, and how have you gotten these? Have you just sort of scraped career sites, looked at real jobs? Have they been from some standard job database? Where have they come from?
So it's been, I would say, a two-phase process. The first phase is exactly the one you described. We actually scraped the web for public profiles to really constitute a huge database of statistics. So that meant that the first user who joined the PathMotion could already see relevant results to his query. But over time, we're building our own database of people who are signing up, and this is actually even more relevant because we can actually see their full profile and what they've been doing. The one we scraped from the web are obviously anonymous, so it's not as interesting for the user.
All right, so the purpose, obviously, if I'm a student, I get this now, or graduate, I'm going to perhaps have some good career guidance. I'm going to see there's some roles, and it might be that, well, maybe I'm not quite suited to be a nuclear scientist, but I might be okay to be, a mathematician, or I might be okay to be an accountant, or, gosh forbid, even a recruiter. But how do I then translate that into now going out and getting a job? Is that part of what your advice will be, is helping them see, well, if you want to be a recruiter or you want to be an accountant, this is where you would go look?
Yeah, so we have a database of vacancies as well that we collect for the students and the young professionals. So it's giving you openings that are available today. So on top of the guidance piece, there's one piece that is very concrete and showing you, okay, those are the organizations actually offering the opportunities that you might be interested in. This is one piece, and the second piece is you can actually connect with, communicate with the people that are on our website and send them a message to get some insights and potentially also network with them.
So I could network with, say, other students or companies that might have the types of jobs I would be interested in?
The professionals, that the actual users that are on the site. So you have the possibility to actually send them a message and ask specific questions if relevant to you.
Oh, hey, that's quite useful then. So I can actually hear some real life examples and have those kinds of conversations.
Absolutely.
And where is this taking place now? Is it in Belgium, in the UK? Where are the students mostly coming from?
So we've launched in the UK a few months ago. Actually, it's now 6 months ago that we've launched in the UK, and so the database of people is mainly UK based, and we work closely with the top universities in the UK to actually promote the service in partnership with them to their students and to their alumni as well.
Okay, that sounds really good. So it's trying to work with the universities so that they have another tool to help students with when they're when they're going to go out there and face the cold, cruel world, and it's now have to find some way to pay back that £6,000 or £9,000 that they're going to be charged for going to university now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where do you see the connection then with industry itself? Do you have a plan in place now to start bringing jobs in so that you can connect with those employers and help them find perhaps more qualified applicants, more qualified students?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly what we're currently looking at, is the service that we would offer to employers is to make new connections, because the way our system works is that we can bring them people that might not have thought in the first place to join their organization or actually work in those specific jobs, because as opposed to classical job boards with PathMotion, they don't search by keywords. We really provide them with ideas based on their personality and their aspirations. The second thing is that it's a way as well. It's going to be a platform for employers to really show what it means to work for them and where they can actually take the candidates that are joining them through the career path of employees, past employees or current employees who have worked for their organization. The whole idea is for them to show them, okay, this is where you can go if you join us. And the final piece is the statistics. Because we're very data driven, we are able to collect very interesting statistics for recruiters and employers, such as where does my competitor recruit from, where does my talent go when it leaves me, and this is also a nice value add that we can provide to the industry.
Well, I think it's a nice, well-rounded approach, and certainly when we look at the more traditional means of both recruiting for students and also for students in the scramble to try and find jobs with the milk round, as it's called here, I think it's some great opportunities there. So I'm guessing that, and we need to come to a close now, but I'm guessing that we can find you on PathMotion.com. All right. How do we actually find David himself? Twitter, email, what's the best way to find you?
Email is, I'm on email at david@pathmotion.com or on Twitter at Davriv, D-A-V-R-I-V. So
Okay.
feel free to get in touch, and obviously you've got the whole team on pathmotion.com, which you can contact anytime.
Great. Well, we certainly appreciate you giving us the time today, and that you did come across to the event. Hopefully you'll be around on June 30th next year. Vic and I yesterday announced that we're going to redo Social Recruiting Conference, but we're going to try and avoid the winter wonderland and do it at the end of June, where we might only have to worry about heat and floods. So hopefully you'll be able to join us there.
Would love to. Thanks for the invitation.
Well, and thank you for your time today, and we could always just say tot de volgende keer.
The volgende keer, Alan.
Thanks so
Take
much.
care.
Have a good New Year.
Bye-bye.
Bye, David.
You too.